Welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy show, and this is one that, well, I'm not looking forward to a lot, but for those of you may not know, we just completed the Weber Cup, and it went pretty well for one of us.
It went pretty well for both of us,
just not so much the last hour and a half or so.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good evening. The miracle of Morningside.
The miracle of Morningside. That's what we're going with on this. Come on.
I mean, it was a miracle. I mean,
it appeared about 3 different times that we were one match away from really just.
I did want to bring that up to you. So I was rewatching some of the footage, right? And you beat Dom. I think it's in the third day in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever. And it was a great quote, and it really came back quite well. And I did almost spit my drink out because I kind of remember you saying it, but it didn't really, register in my brain until I rewatched it. And she says, "So things are going quite well for USA. When will you dare to think about what it'll be like to win the Weber Cup for a 4th time in a row?" And you said, "When we get to 17.
Yeah.
Guess you were thinking about it for a while.
Yeah, we got a little minute to think about it. For those of you who don't know, my son had a little scare over the weekend and spent a little time in an ICU. He's here with us. We're going to prove that he's still with us.
Yay!
There's Troy.
Hi, Troy.
Hey, Stu.
Live and well, and most likely headed back to SFA today. So,
hey, that's good to hear.
Glad you're still with us.
Me too.
Hey, Linda, no strolling through the background in a Team USA jacket this year.
I was going to.
No. I could just bring out my bird. Boom. I haven't got back through immigration yet, so I don't want to get too over the top. I mean, if Warren catches this, he could make a call.
Yeah. Congratulations, you guys pulled great. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it's always more fun when it gets tight and everything like that. And the crowd obviously made it like just way better.
We're sad we weren't there. We would have changed it all. Just saying.
We'd only have to change it a little bit.
There was a few shots that we could have had, but
maybe Chris could have subbed you in to shoot the single pins.
Oof. Okay, I'm out. I'm running him to the door. Congratulations.
By the end there, I could have subbed Troy in to shoot the single pins. So
yeah, it was a little rough. So should we do this as a session by session kind of breakdown? Kind of give guys a sort of a behind the curtain idea of what we were thinking.
Sure.
So the coin flip happened. Europe won the coin flip, which meant we got to choose. So we let Chris knock himself out. I think that the only time that really picking the pattern benefited was really the last session. I think by that point, I think Dom made a pretty good guess as to what would work well for us. But you guys went with the 38. Was it 38 or was it 39? I think it was 38.
38.
It was pretty narrow.
The harder of the two 38. Makahari. We've never picked it before, and the whole idea was basically we have a bunch of guys that are pretty good with urethane, and I'm okay with it. I wouldn't want to bowl against those guys on it, but it felt like it was a fairly even shot if that's what it turned into. But it really didn't turn into that at all, as usual, which is why Dom deferred. And if I would have won, I would have deferred. As the first match, we never quite know how the lane is going to play until we get on it.
I think in hindsight, though, I think it actually worked out to your advantage because you picked that pattern and that conned us into believing that that was good for us. So then we picked the pattern that was closest to that, and that became the Simonson show.
Right.
So in hindsight, I think that you picking the first pattern ended up meaning that you were up 10-8 or whatever it was, because it just it kind of set the table for what we had to do. Where we were like, holy shit, we're in the lead.
Right.
We're never in the lead.
Right. And you're going to follow suit, which is, yeah, we weren't sure if you were going to pick the other 38 or not. We knew we made some mistakes on it, and we made some assumptions that it was going to be a lot of urethane, and then it really just, it wasn't any good, with the exception of for Doherty. And so,
I think the two things that happened was the patterns are very high ratio, but they're quite narrow because of that high ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that necessarily worked out great for the urethane balls, especially not Kyle. He was kind of betwixt and between. If he stood in the oil, his ball wouldn't hook enough. If he stood in the dry, it hooked immediately. We were kind of, as a group, we were kind of a little surprised that he stuck with urethane as much as he did.
In practice, basically every time he's in between some stuff too, which is it's really hard. He spent some time with Sean Ryan last week before he came, and so he was working on some things physically, and that is a brutal place to not be pretty dialed in, because you just don't get, the practice sessions are a half hour. You have 5 guys going at the same time, so you don't really get a lot of shots, and then you sit around for hours and then get 4 shots.
And there isn't really an option to go and bowl somewhere else either, to be fair. So
he was uncomfortable. His ball was getting really forward in practice. Every time he threw something that, would hook enough in the mid lane and down lane, it got really forward. And then Kyle's got way better with speed control, but he didn't really have all his tools with him because of some of the stuff the rest of the tour. I guess all you guys had a lot of time off since the last thing that we really bowled in the summer tour. And so, he just wasn't where he wanted to be coming into the event. And so the speed control, which is obviously the latest thing he's added, was kind of the first thing that abandoned him. And so he had a really tough time getting his ball to look right on the lane ever. And urethane's the bailout play now at any time.
So let's just quickly go down it. Let's see. I can, if I share my screen, it's going to make it a little easier.
You want me to do it instead?
I think I'm good. There we go. So, I mean, if you're looking close, we started off with a Baker game. That wasn't really that close. The European team got off to a 240 to 210 start. You came on the lanes against Thomas Larson. You bowled a pretty good game, took care of Thomas, 257 to 245. I then took on the challenge.
And that one, Larson could have struck. He could have struck in the 10th frame to win that game. So
yeah. And then, like I say, I went on to play Simo in the next match. The score was a little closer than it was. Neither of us really took the 10th frame too seriously. I actually had a 9 miss in the 10th frame after already securing the victory. Dom then came back on. We bowled 3 games and then fresh.
Hang on, I think you can see this one a little better. Let me throw this up.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, like we were saying, Dom then came on the fresh against Doherty, and Dom definitely struggled the most on the European team. If you'd have told me that Dom would have only won 1 point and we'd have picked up the trophy, I would have been extremely surprised.
His ball reaction and my ball reaction at different times felt too close.
The problem for Dom is Dom would feel like he had a couple of games where he bowled quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And then people bowled other high scores against him.
Right.
And then
with the exception of this one, Dom actually bowled. He actually bowled very well and was the hard luck loser.
A couple of times. But then on the last that last session, it was like he'd throw like 2 or 3 good shots, strike, and then he'd throw one that he thought was okay, and it would get 6.
Yeah,
So
2
anyway, Doherty had a pretty good debut, 260. Remembering we're using current frame scoring, so you can kind of manipulate these
230
numbers for about 25 to 35 pins, depending on the kind of situation. Then we had a doubles match, which felt a bit awkward. I thought in the middle of the session when it was the opening session of singles to have that
right
doubles match. It was a bit weird. So we obviously went with the option of keeping Dom on the lane, which is what you guys with Doherty. We put Thomas in. Thomas and Dom lost in a tight one to Doherty and Vi. Then Tease came out against Vi. This might have been one of the shocks of the tournament, to be honest.
Watching practice, Richie's ball reaction was kind of terrible, and Vi's was.
Hi, Ross. Ross is the lane man, the button pusher over in Europe. Nice to see you. Vi looked locked in. He looked ready to go, and then Tease really fed off the crowd the whole weekend, especially in this first match. He came out pumped. He was ready to go. He definitely wasn't afraid of the moment, and he delivered a huge point. And that kind of put us in a situation where, on our side, we were pretty sure that we had Jesper coming up next, but we were also pretty sure that Jesper was going to stay on the lane for the fans' choice. It's a little easier for us than it is for the American team because, in general, Jesper wins that fans' choice vote. I think Dom's won it once, but most times the European faithful vote for Jesper in that match.
Right. Historically, Jesper's been the most dominant player over the last 5 or 6 years, and so your guys do a pretty good job. And then people, I think,
he
they
also
probably
has the most
do a pretty good job of
titles.
voting for the weakest player in the American team. So
I think that that's incorrect. I think they vote for the one that they've heard of. And you've been over to Europe a lot more than any of the other people on your team.
that's nice of you.
But anyway, Jesper, I'm not going to say that me and Jesper didn't vote for you when we had the opportunity to vote. But you ended up winning by 2 votes. We never actually heard who was the second choice for the American team. Kyle was in second. So in the end, we probably would have been better for us if Kyle would have won that. I'm not so sure that they would have been too thrilled about seeing the same match back to back. We had a lot of that in the past, and they've tried to change the system to not really allow that.
Yeah, there was some talk about trying to do a doubles fan choice.
We did actually have that last year in the when we were in the bubble. They did vote for that last year. Jesper and Osku actually won that fans' choice, and they won the match. And it was fun for us because we never really thought that was our strongest doubles partnership. And then they went out and shot 270, I think. And we were like, oh. So then we immediately put them out again the next chance we had for doubles. So that wasn't necessarily the doubles combination that we would have picked if it would have been like, a free choice. But they really meshed with each other super good on that. So I kind of like it. I also like it when they give you a little bit more freedom with how you can set your lineup up. And I feel like you go as a team. And I don't want it to be a situation, where Jesper or Simo can bowl like 3 times more matches than anybody else. But I do like it a little bit, if Dom or Kyle are struggling, that you can hide them a little bit. I think that that's part of team play.
Yeah, like for you guys, so Jesper bowled 7 times in singles. And
was that how many it was in the end?
5. And you and Dom bowled 4, and I think Tease bowled 3.
Yeah.
I think I missed one, but yeah. And then for us, it was a little, but the fans' choice was part of that. too, because Simon bowled 6
Yeah, well-
times. He bowled the maximum that we could put him in as well.
Yeah, exactly. It was really 5 was the most singles you could bowl.
Right.
And then Jasper ended up with a fan's choice and an MVP match. So that was day 1, done and dusted. For the first time in about 5 years, it felt like Europe took a lead out of the first session. Even when we were winning the Weber Cup, we were historically fairly shitty that first session. I remember a fun story back in, I think it was 2013. We had me, Mika, Martin, and Dom, and we went to this Chinese buffet, and we lost the first session 5-1. And I think it was the year that you and Tommy, I think we won the Baker, and then you and Tommy both come out and bowl 300 back to back. I think it was that year.
Oh, yeah.
So we came back, and Mika's like, you know, how every bowler is. Well, we're not going that fucking Chinese ever again. You know, how we are. So fast forward, we ended up winning. So the next year we come in and Mika's still there and we're walking around and I look at Mika and we walk past this same place, me, Mika, Dom, and Martin. And I go, well, there's only one place we can go. And Mika's like, no. And I go, Mika, I mean, do I need to call PA to have this confirmed? Mika goes, okay, fine. So we go in there and we lose 5-1 again, the first session. And Mika goes, I don't care if we win this. We ain't ever going back in that Chinese restaurant ever again. And we did end up winning. But then I think Mika retired after that year. And we changed it up after that because we didn't want to tempt fate with a third 5-1 loss. So, yeah, finally winning a session was pretty cool. There you go. Paul Woodgets, Mr. Europe himself, says he voted for Jesper and Kyle because of Jesper's head-to-head record against Kyle. There's a true fan.
Yeah, there's a lot of true fans, I think, and that's the only downside of the fans' choices because it doesn't get seen as much in the USA. Is that people don't know who to vote for or maybe what the best, you know,
the best solution is for you guys.
Yeah, what the best solution, and to be honest, it's not as clear anyway. Other than, you know, generally Simo has been very, very good.
So we come in the next morning and off on the back of our victory, we tried to focus on a pattern that was quite similar. So we took the scimitar pattern, which was the same pattern, just a couple of feet longer. We decided to try and start sort of strong. So we came out the gate with Jesper. He took care of Kyle again. I felt like you were going to start Kyle and Simo. Now you mixed it in a little bit. You probably looked at the sheet a little bit better than we did. But you know, going forward for the next couple of days with the combinations and stuff.
Yeah, we were trying to get some of those combinations out in the right orders. And we didn't, you know, we still made some mistakes at the end and kind of boxed ourselves in at the end. But
yeah, I think we both kind of had that issue with kind of getting the extra game to Simo and Jesper on that last day, and neither has really managed it in the end.
Well, yeah, I think both teams. Well, we managed to get Simo and 3 singles in here, and then it cost us on the other side. You know.
Yeah.
And
so anyway, Jesper came out and won. Me and Jesper bowled together. The next match, I didn't think that Jesper would be the problem, not me, but I shot more 7 pins than he shot 10 pins. So yeah, you kind of know how that went. I then bowled Simo again on the burn. Simo took care of me pretty handily that game. If I'd have struck in the 9th, it might have made it a little more entertaining. Simo needed, I think, 8 in the 10th to shut me out. He left the 3-4 combination, sped it out the back.
Yeah, you got a 5 count: 3, 4, 6, 7, 10.
Alan Riley says, yeah, Jesper bowled doubles against Troop and Barnes by himself, baller. No, they just didn't put my name in for whatever reason. The doubles continued. We had Thomas and Richie against you and Doherty. Thomas and Richie might have bowled the best game.
Yeah, they had the front 8 on, and that pattern wasn't particularly.
If you looked at the graph, it was way easy. But if you actually looked at the lanes and how we bowled, it wasn't quite as straightforward, shall we
We
say.
had a couple of those patterns, and they said they were 5-0 and 5-1, and we're bowling like that. Feel like 5-1 to you? Like
I think the problem came from that it was 5-1, but it became the place that you wanted hold. There was hook, but if you got it right of that hook, the lane didn't really want you to get it there for whatever reason. Like the lane was maybe a little older or whatever, and it didn't really peel off that outside of 5.
Active lane, and it was like a 15-year-old lane. It looked a little bit like some of those lanes in Babylon. It was pretty scratched up. Yeah, but that's just the point. Yeah, you're exactly right. Is the shape of the patterns were where there was 5-1 is where the lane was inverted the other way. And so it flattened all the patterns out and kept, considering his world bowling scoring, the scores were
they were
relatively low.
The thing that was good about it is sometimes with the world bowling scoring, it gets a little bit repetitive, and it's like, if you have one bad frame, it's kind of almost over.
Yeah, when the lanes do get easy, there's a lot of 289, 278 kind of matches.
At any point, did anybody think we picked the wrong pattern? Yes, we realized we picked the wrong pattern 2, when I lost to Simo.
I think both teams got that pattern 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we felt like we did much better on pattern 3, even though, especially after we got started. But the way it finished, it would end up being fairly even. We weren't surprised to see something similar again. I thought the last 2 patterns made both teams played relatively to the strengths.
Yeah.
Alan,
so then Dom,
sorry, you said pins were flying out of the back like I've never seen before, and that's exactly what it's from. It's from the plastic in front of the camera, and it's a little low. And so if you could get the pin up in the air just a little. At the beginning, they were flying around everywhere, and it was almost like I almost wonder if we didn't crack it because they didn't fly out as much. After,
it was way worse last year.
Yeah.
Last year it was like comedy. Like it was comedy last year. The only place I've seen it that bad was the World Championships in Thailand.
Oh,
when we went, remember? And there was that one TV pair. And me and Dom weren't doing very well, and I spared the. I left a washout, the 1-2-4-10, and me and Dom were in the couldn't give a fuck mode at that point because we had no chance, and I spared it by shooting the 10 pin.
Ah, nice.
So that was the one where Rhino got the pin to hit the ball return as well. Thanks, Steve. You are a Weber Cup veteran.
He is
for sure.
I thought this year was the first time that maybe, like in theory, there's 22 of them now, and I've been there for more than half of them. And for the most part, I feel like they're the European fans, because all but one of them have been there, are overly courteous to us as visitors. Yeah. And this was the first time that I felt like not so much.
Yeah.
A little bit of golf clapping, but it
got
a true home field advantage. I mean, obviously it gets close and the crowd gets really loud, but that isn't even early on.
They were pretty loud when you missed that 10 pin against me.
Yeah, the voices in my head were too, so I didn't worry about that.
The one thing I wanted to address was the players were getting a little butchered over the spare shooting. Now, 2 things. 1, absolutely agree. But 2, like with everything else, it's very nuanced. And the thing that's hard about the Weber Cup is that there's no warm-up lane. There's no anything. So if you're not feeling confident with your spare ball, what do you do? Do you not throw a strike shot when you think you need to shoot 7 or 8 strikes to win the game to practice the spare shot that you might not even throw? Or do you just go for it? Now, I feel like that some of the spare shooting was caused because a lot of the people who were bowling don't bowl on patterns that are quite so cliffed as those. And they shoot spares in a way that causes some of the issues that happened, especially on the left side. Like people shoot spares now, they don't really go across the lane. And that's due to how much oil we have on the PBA Tour.
Right.
People kind of feel like your spare ball drifts a little bit. So they kind of want to get closer to the pin. Well, it was actually the opposite on this. A lot of the time, as soon as the ball hit the lane, it was gone.
Well, actually, I feel, and this is really technical, but the reason I think most people, especially two-handers, because they walk left. And when you walk left in your swing tucks, it's very difficult to throw the ball right to left.
Yeah.
And so they keep them. So even one-handers for a long time, the guys who really drifted shoot the spares up the left side because they can't throw the ball right to left.
Yeah.
That's how their swing works. But there was a lot of hook on those first couple patterns. And it took a little while for everybody to adjust. And they were basically doing it on the fly because we weren't shooting a lot of spares in practice because we had such short practice sessions.
Yeah.
Now
we probably could have done a better job, but we
and obviously our team spent way more time in the next couple practice sessions, even though they were only 30 minutes for 5 of us of shooting them. Ross,
the only thing I will tell you, go ahead, say, Chris.
Yeah, no plastic. There was a hole in the curtain, but the camera was moving, so the curtain was pulled back to allow the camera more view. Pins could hit the cushion frame, causing more bounce backs. So
there you go. The thing I was about to say to you was, though, good old Platinum Ford spare ball. Thanks, Platinum Ford. Didn't miss one that counted. So yeah, get over, do your test drive over at Platinum Ford, and you yourself can get a Team Storm Platinum Ford special.
I think I need to call Stoney and schedule the test drive sooner than later. I did plenty of drive-bys already. I probably should stop in this time.
So anyway, that session, Simo then bowled one of the best games of the tournament, 289 against Dom, 252. Then both teams kind of did the same thing. We left the singles guy on, and this is kind of where this session slipped away from us a little bit. Dom and Richie lost to Simonson and Vi. It was kind of an awkward spot for us because I'd already bowled twice. We were putting Richie in 2 doubles to get the extra singles to Jesper. Because in this session, everybody had to bowl twice.
Yeah, we looked pretty smart here where Kyle and I actually won a match despite not really having great ball reaction. And then that left Simonson and Vi, which we thought was our strongest based off of practice. I mean, we got to have our 3 strongest guys finishing up the session.
So then we were kind of relying on Jesper to at least get us to go 50-50 in these last 2 singles. It was kind of a coin flip about which way round it went. In hindsight, maybe we should have gone the other way. Doherty bowled fantastic, shot 289. Jesper bowled a pretty solid 256. Thomas then struggled a little bit against Vi, but Dory's urethane really played a big part in that. I think if those matches would have been flipped, it would have been interesting to see how that worked out. It was good captaincy by Chris because Vi couldn't really control his ball on the fresh very well, but he seemed to have a really good feel for it once he committed one way or the other following Doherty.
Yeah, honestly, it certainly wasn't a preconceived strategy, but until the pattern stretched, Vi's ball actually went more sideways than anybody's. And so we pretty consistently put him after Doherty.
Yeah, you don't really realize quite how high Vi's rev rate is sometimes because he's so much more upright than the other guys, but his rev rate it's up there. It's definitely, for me, it's definitely higher than Simonson's.
Oh, yeah. Easily. For a guy who's fairly forward, it appears with his ball roll, his ball really comes off of it.
Oof. Let's hear a few words from our friends over at True Grit before we break down the last day. So over at True Grit Coatings, they're based out of Tampa. Chris, I'll give you a call. I've been kind of in negotiations with him about trying to figure out getting my garage done. So maybe we can make it a 2-for-1 deal when he comes over this way.
Sounds like a plan.
So here we go. William Gannon coming in says USA was like the Texas Longhorns, good for the first half, but faltered in the fourth quarter. Sorry, not sorry. Seems fair. So anyway, Saturday came around. You guys got to pick again. Did you guys have any thoughts about going a little longer?
We did. We had some thoughts about going really long, and to be honest, how we ended up where we are is that, well, last year I guess we picked one of the longest patterns, and then we struggled on it. It actually got very close to being in the very same situation. Basically, if EJ doesn't throw the strike to win that, we have back with Kyle without a lot of ball reaction, and then the Baker game left. And very easily could have been the same scenario. And so we practiced on it. Simo's look wasn't great. Kyle's look still wasn't good. And so we basically went blind on a pattern we hadn't bowled on, but got more oil on the front part of the lane to basically help Kyle get through the lane a little bit better, probably myself a little bit more, and not get so long to where Simo's ball wasn't going to pick up. And so we could still leave him and Vi, help Vi a little bit with getting it stretched out a little bit without getting it too long to.
One real quick question here. I think this is a bit of a philosophical question, but Tom Murphy says PBA should try a one-lane show. I thought the match was a more exciting shot for shot. For me, I don't think the matches are more exciting because we bowl on one lane necessarily, but I do completely agree with the shot for shot. I feel like the shot for shot creates a lot more drama, and when you don't see the match swing without the other guy bowling very often, right. Whereas on the PBA with the 1-2-2-2 malarkey, you do see matches drastically change with a guy basically like going from a position where he's a bit behind to, oh my God, I've basically won and I haven't thrown a ball.
Yeah, and we've talked about this too. The thing when you go with the 2-2-2 is guys can't really get too excited about the first shot of the two because they have to resettle up and throw another shot in the next 30 seconds. Where here, if that's your nature, you can celebrate every single shot and you have time to come back, get yourself back in the right place and go back up again.
And be present, so to speak.
Yeah.
And also it gives a much bigger advantage. It is a significant advantage being able to go first.
Yeah. And if we did
because
this every week,
every frame,
most guys would choose to bowl first. The higher seed would get to bowl first all the time.
Yeah. I don't know anybody who'd choose to go second in the 1-1-1 deal.
Right. You only do it the other way. Most of the time guys they choose to finish. Well, most of the time guys still choose to finish first, or the newer guys anyway.
Yes.
Because
not many people like finishing on the right lane.
Right. That, and when you bowl first in the PBA style, you have to get up after a break 7 times, whereas you have to get up 5 times and throw, after a break.
Right.
Plus, you get
never really thought about it like that, but that's what happens when you've bowled about 100 TV shows more than me.
You start looking at a lot of things when you lose a lot of those shows too. So
the Baker came out kind of how they went. We really dominated the Baker. Then we had possibly the best 2 matches back to back in the tournament. Richie and Doherty came down to the 10th frame. Doherty took care of that, 66-55. Then Dom and Vi had a slugfest. This is kind of one of the bitches about this format. Vi missed a single pin but got 1 extra strike. Is that better than 2 spares? I don't know, but that's how it is. It is better. So Vi when now
Yeah, world
it doesn't
scoring.
really matter.
World scoring, he wins, and in regular, he loses.
Well, I think in regular he still won because I actually think he did it the first 2 frames. I think he went 9 miss, 9 spare sheet.
Oh, okay.
And I think the
So
Dom
he had the same score, actually.
Yeah. I just don't really like the 9 miss.
It happened early in the tournament with you where you went 9 spare, and somebody went, Simon went 9 out.
Simo.
And then he struck.
Simo missed Simo missed the 2 pin against me. And so it's a bit of one of those things, but it was a good match. Vi got up, he needed the strike, and he got it. Really good shot. It was pretty much a no doubter. I think he threw one that I commentated on. I think that was the match I was commentating on. I sounded like a local radio broadcaster, if anybody understands what that is. Like, that's our ball. Are you kidding me, ref? Etc. etc. I might have had a little bit of a diatribe about two-handed bowling and whatever else, but
things we do.
That was what it was.
We're on the wrong side of the momentum.
Yeah. So then we reeled the lane. We had Thomas and Jesper going up against Kyle and Doherty. I don't really remember that match greatly. It doesn't look like it was that memorable. 213 to 235.
I think it was Jesper had the same issue with corner pins, and Thomas was getting caught with all the traffic and the urethane that Kyle and Doherty were throwing, and he had one go by it, and then he had one go high, and they had a hard time getting rhythm.
Then you took care of Dom. I think you needed a spare to win that match, and you got up and threw a strike, if I recall correctly.
Yes, that was the case.
And then I think
Simo Slayer.
This is kind of where things started to turn around a little bit for the Europeans.
This is kind of about where we felt like one more win, because the momentum had shifted so much with all the.
Yeah, I mean, if you scroll back up there quickly, you'd won 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row,
and you have Simonson coming up, and you're like, "Wow, we're just going to be, we're in complete control here. We're already up by 2, now 1.
I think it was 13-8 at that point.
Yeah. It was 10-8, and so it was 14-9. So we were up by 5 with Simonson up. And you're like, we win this thing, and this is kind of done.
And the hyped Pearl came into town. I managed to just leave the 2 flat 10s, even though I could have left a couple more.
You bowled a good game.
Yeah, no, I did definitely, but I'm just saying, like, in that spot, you kind of when you're playing the 2-handers on the burn, you kind of need a couple of things to go your way.
Well, and you played smart too, because that was a departure from before. I went to a hustle line the match before against Dom and threw it slow for the first time the whole time. And that was a little bit based off of Richie Teese, who looked like he had terrible bar action, but kept striking when a lot of people were struggling.
Yeah.
And then you went to the same thing with cleaner ball, got slower, and you bowled fantastic that game.
Yeah, it was a really good game, and I think that it injected some life back into our team.
100%.
We were a little bit down at that point. Beating Simo has that adrenaline charge for the team in the same way that you guys beating Jesper does.
Exactly.
I feel like I bowled pretty well against Simo overall. I think it's just I just feel like when I go up against him, it's kind of one of those deals where it's like it doesn't feel like there's any pressure on me because he's beaten virtually everybody on our team. So if I lose, it's not a big deal. If I win, it is a big deal. So it's kind of a win-win for me.
Yeah, you're 500 or better, which makes you considerably better than any of the rest of us. And that's kind of Simo versus Jesper is a little bit that same way, where he's actually got a winning record against Jesper and virtually none of the rest of us.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Any wins
so then Thomas came up against Kyle. Thomas got off to not the best start, but managed to rally the back half of the game. He was using a shiny Zen Master that he'd kind of gone and got shined up, and he Like Thomas threw so many clutch shots when he needed them. It was very impressive. Even when it came down to the Baker, I think Thomas struck. I think he struck 4 out of 6, and he included a 5-6 spare to start the tournament. That was pretty sweet.
He started off 0-2 in singles and 0-1 in doubles, and then he ended up winning 4 out of the next 5 matches that he was a part of. 3 of them being singles, and his back half of the tournament was you and he together. You know, really kind of turned the whole tide, because we started beating Jesper, but you guys were covering that up along with Richie was coming in the doubles stuff, and he basically won. He was huge in the doubles.
Yeah, so Simo took care of Jesper again. It was a bit of a back and forth match. Jesper got a little frustrated with that one because he felt like we had some momentum coming, and he was hoping we were going to be able to basically tie it up.
Right.
But anyway, me and Richie went back out in a kind of a must win for us, it felt like. And that was the match where I started ring 10, flat 10, and the messenger rolled the entire way across the deck and fell over. And Richie got up in the 10th frame, needing a strike to win. And I don't think that score's right, by the way.
I don't think so either. That's not how I remember it.
I think it's 256 to 245, because I think that if Richie, I think we could have tied.
9 spare was a tie.
Yeah, and I believe
it wasn't an all in. It was like he had to throw it good to guarantee a chance, but it wasn't a do or die shot.
Yeah. So then we came to the evening session. Yeah, there you go. After Jesper and Simon came the beef and biscuit show, biscuit teas. It's a very English joke. There's some biscuits in England called rich tea biscuits. Rich tea, biscuit, yada yada. Yeah. Thanks, Alex. My mom and dad definitely did have a good time. So anyway, we this mini session here was kind of interesting because we could only play a couple of different combinations because only Richie or Thomas could bowl the singles. So we could have had me and Thomas bowl doubles and Jesper and Dom bowl doubles and Richie bowl the singles, or Thomas bowl the singles. And what it really came down to was I felt like me and Dom going out in the first match, if we could win, we'd really rev the crowd up with it being the 2 English guys. Didn't work out that way. We managed to lose, but I don't know. Thomas feels like he's almost perfect for singles because he's so level-headed and so like just chill factor. Yeah. And sometimes that isn't the best for the doubles. If you've got a bunch, that's why Thomas is a really good person with Jesper. I don't think it's that easy to bowl with the 3 English guys because we're so like ready to go and trying to bring the crowd into it. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we picked the 43-foot pattern because we needed to do something different. So me and Dom lost. Thomas bowled a great game. Got a clutch strike in the 10th frame to beat Doherty.
Is that the one where Doherty 7-pin to
7-pin to lose? Yeah.
He had a chance to get it in just a little bit. And
it was one of those, right?
It didn't really finish it, but it would have been such, you're back to a
it would have been a long way back for sure.
Yeah.
The thing with Doherty's shot was, if I watched that shot in isolation, I'd have been like, well, of course that didn't strike.
Yeah.
If you watch Doherty's body of work for the weekend and you saw that hit, he had that hit about 100 times.
He was like, that was the hit was the reason why he kept throwing the purple hammer the whole time. Because he was 100%. The only guy that could get away with it consistently. He got it all the time.
Yeah. I don't think it should have fallen. I think that it was.
Oh no, and he didn't
like-
think so either. He knew it wasn't his best shot. He was
No,
hoping.
it's just he'd carried so much bullshit off the wall that we were like, I mean, yes, I didn't even I just couldn't watch. And Jesper grabbed my leg, and he's like, holy shit, one stud.
We were that way a little bit with Teese because you kept watching it, like his ball is so flat going through them, and it was like Tim Chris, and they just kind of kept hitting each other, and you're like, oh, that's a flat. No, oh,
it was funny. I felt like I got to be almost Nostradamus with Teese because I could watch Teese's ball the first 5 feet, and I could tell you if it was going to strike or not.
wow, yeah.
Because if he got off his hand one way, it just wouldn't strike, and if he got it off it the other way, unless it was like out the window, it struck almost every time. So we were really, it was kind of fun. And the problem was when he tried to help one around the corner, they were the ones that wouldn't strike.
Yeah, what it feels like he needed to do to get his ball to go through the pins, that didn't work at all. And the ones that went forward, and he and Larson also, they both got their hand in kind of a unique spot, and both at different times went on some runs that were pretty amazing. We got stuck in the same situation. Myself or Doherty were the only two that could bowl singles. Vi and Kyle had to bowl together. And so, and we just rolled it out that way. And so when Simon and I won the doubles, we're like, hey, this might work out pretty good. We tried to move Kyle back because that's where he thought he would have a little better swing after Doherty went. And it just didn't, it didn't work out that way. Obviously, they didn't bowl a very good game.
Yeah, under 200 in the world scoring system, especially for two-handers where they've got such a big pocket, is a little rough. Then we go to what they're calling the match of the tournament, the Weber Cup match of the decade. Beef v Barnzy.
I didn't see it that way.
It was a pretty epic tussle, though.
It was.
So we kind of went shot for shot early on. I got a little bit ahead because Chris had an 8 spare, the 310. I then threw a shot that I didn't think that was that bad, but the ball told me it really was that bad, leaving the 1-2-8. I knew it wasn't good, but I didn't think it was flag the head pin, don't wash out bad. So that kind of put me a little bit behind in the count. We kind of traded blows back and forth. We were both using shiny realities. It was a 43-foot pattern. It was I think it was the flattest pattern we bowled on the whole event. It was like 2.7 to 1, I think. So anyway, we get down to the 9th and 10th. We both strike in the 9th. I got up in the 10th. I think we both struck in the 8th and 9th, actually. I got up in the 10th with the chance to finish it, 265, 254. I was a little soft with my hand, a flat 10. Make the spare. You go up needing a strike to survive, for want of a better description, force the roll off. You did that, rolled it really nice. We go to the roll off. We have a little bit of a discussion over whether it's going to be one frame, one ball, whatever. We confirm that we're going to do full frame for the roll off. I go up with my first shot, missed in, got the hold. Kind of let you know that was a bit of a miss. You go up, throw pretty much 10 back. I go up for my next shot. I definitely wasn't going to miss that one left. I got off my hand pretty decent for the light hit for the strike. You reciprocate. We get to the next shot, third shot, the roll off. I'm kind of a little bit in between because the last shot I didn't catch it quite as good, and I've gone for the light hit, but I feel like the fronts are starting to go. I'm a bit like, should I, shouldn't I? Probably should. Happened to throw it really good for the 4-pin. Took my time, made the spare. You went up. I think you were kind of a little softer than you'd been with them. I think you were kind of. I felt like a lot of the time on that one lane, when you see the other guy do something, you try not to do that miss. Not you personally, just in general.
No,
it's
yeah.
like when the other guy 4-pins, you're just like, oh, maybe the lane's changing a little bit or whatever.
I pinched a half and I threw that one and I thought I was pretty surprised that I flat 10 on it. I thought it was a pretty good one, but it didn't go through him. It was a flat 10.
Yeah, it didn't really get up the hill, did it? So
No. I
you
mean, where
left
it
the
hit
10 pin.
where it hit the pocket, I was not surprised at the leave at all. I was just surprised that it hit that spot when I threw
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we were sitting on the benches, and I turned to Dom and I said, I actually think this is our best chance of winning the roll-off. Like,
Yeah.
I was quite happy when we were playing full frames because you'd been struggling to get comfortable with the spare ball. You're obviously going second, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So you left the 10 pin and then then you didn't.
I
had a couple.
loved it.
Yeah, I had a I don't know if you saw, but your friend Mika posted a picture on Instagram about it. I don't know whether you saw that.
I did not. It's nice of him though.
Yeah. Mika took a picture of a yellow ball in the 10 pin about halfway down and said, "This just get interesting."
Considering history there, that's ironic.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
So yeah, that was his Instagram post for it. Mika went from being Chris's friend to European the one time a year. So that was the crowd went absolutely bananas when you missed that one.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it was cool. It was a cool moment from my side. Like I say, that wasn't necessarily the way I wanted to win that game, but at the same time, I didn't
Win's
really
a win
care
at
how I
that
won
point.
that game. Yeah. We were past the moral victories.
And it was kind of the same spot where you felt like if we win that game, this thing's it's just a wrap. And then again, it swung the other way. Of course, now it's getting close. And then Vi steps up. You got the Iceman. You're like, oh crap, here we go. It's coming the other way. And then Vi bowls a great game and beat Jesper.
Yeah, he smashed him, to be fair. And then the next game, it says 243 to 245, but I don't remember that game. I think that Simo spared in the 10th to make that game closer than it really ever was. Doherty says, watching Team Europe perform under pressure in front of those fans is one of the greatest things I've seen in our sport. It's different for Team Europe. It shows on their faces. Congrats again. Well, thanks, Tom. That's nice. And it definitely is different for us.
Yeah, there's a
we do come into it as it's not even close that we're the underdogs. I mean, if you add up the rankings of the two teams, it's like, it's silly. Dom was our third best player at like 27th in the rankings or something. So yeah, it's definitely fun and it's definitely great to be able to give them a chance. And then my man Thomas, and this is what I was talking to you about a little bit earlier. I'd kind of banked when we were talking about the order in my mind. I'd kind of banked on Jesper winning that Jesper winning that game, and that kind of made it so we definitely get through to the Dom match no matter what. And we were talking about that just off air before we started, and I said that I always felt like Dom was going to win that one, not just because he's my mate, but because Kyle's had such a meteoric rise that I just don't think he understands how to bowl when he's not bowling very well because he hasn't got much practice at it. Whereas, you and me and Dom and some of the older guys,
we have lots of practice at it.
We understand, like, Dom kind of understands how he can guard against his misses. Now, as it turned out in that match, he didn't do a great job of it. He struck every shot except 3 times when he left the 2-4-8-10. It was kind of funny that we had. That's right. Simo got 2 on the 2-4-8-10 to beat Richie. He actually opened the 10th frame.
Right. It wasn't that close, and then all of a sudden it was.
Yeah. And I think he went 7 spare 6-2 to finish the match out.
Right.
To make that close when it wasn't.
And Dom and Thomas Larson's was actually closer as well. Doherty went like 9 out in the 10th or whatever.
Yeah. But again, Thomas
struck to shut him out.
Yeah, Thomas bowled stepped up when we needed him most. Dom ended up leaving the 2-4-8-10 3 times in the same match, but still came out on top. There can't be many times that's ever happened. And then we had the MVP match. There was a little bit of debate over who was going to play for Europe because we had 3 guys with the same record. We had 3 guys with 3.5 points. It went bizarrely. The breakdown was pinfall, which I told them was a ridiculous thing to call it on. So then they said, okay, we'll call it average rather than pinfall. Either way, Jesper was first. So
Jesper was at that point was 3-3 in singles, 1-2 in doubles. Stu was 3-1 in singles, 1-2 in doubles. Larson was 3-2 in singles, 1-2 in doubles. So that's like saying the batting title winner was the guy with the most hits that also got 100 more at bats.
Yeah. Seemed to work out okay for us in the end, though.
It worked out fine for you. And it might not have worked out any differently, to be honest.
No.
But it was a match again with everything that was on the line. It was a match for the ages.
Yeah, they both stepped up. They both threw great shots. Simo had probably 8 really good shots and 2 shots that he'd like to have back.
Yeah. 3, but one of them struck.
Well, yeah, they're in the roll off. Yeah, for sure. But Simo had the 2 opens. Jesper left the ring flat 7, kind of the one where it goes sort of low around, but because he's 2-handed, it still flies around the pin.
Yeah, it's a flat 10 for us, but not for him.
Yeah. Then he got the double. Simonson opened, and we're like, all right, Jesper's ready to go. Let's go. And Jesper went up, and it was like time stopped still while the pins just flew over the top of the 9 pin. It was ridiculous. Like, he went from not being able to get the flat 7 out or the ring 7, and then the pins just exploded, and the 9 pin was stood. So that was kind of that kind of took the air out the European bench for a little while. Kind of evened the match up. Simo then did what Simo does. He threw great shots. Yeah, Alex, you and me both. That 9 pin hurt my soul. Yeah. I think you're reading way too much into that. I mean, you're saying that they made the carry worse because the pin deck wasn't clean. I mean, I just think that we never usually see a camera in that area. I don't think that made any difference, to be perfectly honest. So then, coming down the stretch, Jesper had another couple of 7 pins. We thought everything was kind of dead for us, really. And then Simo left the 2-4-8-10 again. And I guess it was maybe the defining moment of the match. Simo only managed to take 2 out of that, which kind of put them back on level terms. That was the 9th frame. Jesper got up in the 9th and struck. Simo got up and threw the absolute no doubter, the first shot of the 10th. Jesper went up. I mean, the building was so quiet when Jesper went up for that shot in the 10th frame. He went up, he took care of business, 10 back. And the place went crazy. Absolutely crazy. I was just saying about when Simo didn't take the count on that 2-4-8-10.
Yeah. That was obviously the intent. It wasn't a mental miscalculation.
Oh,
he just
missed it
in, and once it got going, it flew over there. And one of the many small things that turns into a big thing. But there was a feeling when Jesper left that 9 pin that we were going to have something come back at us later on, and so we needed to be ahead.
Yeah,
you kind of feel like there's one coming your way somewhere after one that good doesn't strike.
So I was just saying, we got to the 10th frame. Simo was just furious about his 9th frame. He got up, and it was like he was just throwing a shot on a Saturday afternoon in the league. He just walked up and just bang, 10 back. Not even a there wasn't even it looked like one of those shots where it didn't even enter his mind that there was a possibility that he might not strike.
None.
And Jesper kind of did the same. They both they went up in the roll-off. Simo's first shot in the roll-off, he kind of got it a little right. He was kind of he played with our emotions a little bit as he was like, oh my God, I see, let go of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure he didn't. That wasn't a little bit of a troll, but I don't think it wasn't his favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, once it started to come back, I wasn't really surprised it got all the way back. But
Yeah.
at the same time, where it went off his hand, I was like, oh God, that might not get back to start with. But then once it started coming down the ramp, you knew it was pretty good. But at that point, I think Jesper had kind of just switched off to that. He was, people talk about being in the zone. And at that point, I think if he needed to, Jesper could still be on the lane throwing strikes. He went to a different spot, it seemed like. And he threw 10 back again, and the crowd went amazing. Like they were just they were just really they were all over it. Simo went up. I think he got it in a little bit. Was that the 10, the flat 10? I believe he flat 10.
Yeah.
He went up and made the spare. It almost felt inevitable that Jesper was going to strike that shot because of the way the match had gone. Sure enough, he did. And we were off to a Baker. And this is the second time I've played that Baker. And both times, well, actually, no. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. The previous time, we actually had the chance to win the match, the match before, and lost. But we'd come back from so far behind to get to that point that it just felt like a blip type of deal. I don't know how I'd feel about being so close to it for so long and then having to come back out and bowl the Baker again. Because as a team, like when you finish bowling and then you won the next couple of games, a lot of your guys must have been like, well, we're going to win. It's just somebody's just going to win. Like,
right,
one guy's going to win.
And then nobody did, and then it kept clicking off. And yeah, it was not a great, comfortable feeling. We rallied, and I'm not a big speech guy, but we had to get everybody back in the moment because if you it was easy to not check out, but like you said, just like, well, I don't really have much, but it doesn't matter. Somebody will win.
Yeah.
And then it mattered, and we all had to kind of figure it out. And I mean, to their credit, everybody in our group, considering they really kind of struggled down the stretch, with the exception of Vi and Simo. I had struggled a little, and everybody bowled pretty good. I was the one guy that didn't that ended up holding up my end of the bargain. So
yeah, I mean,
I went 9 spare, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess there was one open on your side. No, you had 3 9 spares and we had 2, because that's 267, not 268.
Right, the scores are, yeah. Kyle actually struck, which that you just moved to the right, fired it up there, like this is your option. You can go to your strength. You're going to play it and keep it in play and throw it uphill, and I threw one quick. So we had strike. I threw one quick for the 2-pin spare. We had 2 more strikes, and then Kyle 4-pinned, I believe. Doherty struck, and then I 9-pinned. It was
like you had like a 4-9 hit.
Yeah, it was almost a 4-9, which would have been game over at that point.
I once you missed, it kind of changed a little bit for me. I mean, and it's because you're not in that moment as often as you'd like to be, because it was suddenly like it was a weird deal, because like in my mind, it wasn't that I didn't go up trying to strike, but I really knew that if I got 9 spare, the odds were really strong we were going to win. And I moved a couple for my shot because I was a little nervous, and I'd like to say I could have got my heart rate down a little bit better than I did, but your heart's pounding a little bit, and you don't want to be the guy who goes through the face at that point to force Jesper to need a strike. Whereas, you know, a light hit, as it turned out, was okay. I 4-pinned. If the pin had been another 5 feet away, it probably wouldn't have made it, but it wasn't.
You'd have
so
made
it
my
did.
4-9.
Yeah. It was a little skinny jeans.
Yeah, but
Vi
it
went up.
I was gonna miss it.
Vi went up and give it the oh my god, I missed 5 inside and it still held. Isn't bowling great. To strike. And then we had Jesper. I mean, yeah, the man got up again and he just buried the pins again and said, "We did it now." And Alex says, I love the fact as soon as you ran up to your family, Stu. Yeah, I kind of felt bad about the fact that I ran straight past Jesper. But at that point, I don't think he really cared. I certainly didn't care. We ran into the crowd. Yeah, that was there. It was crazy. Yeah, it was definitely different to when we won last time in that scenario. And I'm not sure I'll have as much fun as I had in the past 7 or 8 years with the win last time. It doesn't mean that I won't have a good time with it. And I did, to quote my man Kevin Durant, keep receipts. I remember all you motherfuckers who told us we were going down and we were going to get smashed by the American teams. Not you, Chris, but I saw plenty of the comments. I've already sent out a few text messages. But
I know better. I've seen how this thing works. The
Yeah.
times you go, "Oh, you guys killed them. It was 18-14." You're like, "Yeah, but this happened, which is 2 points, and then this happened, which is 2 points, and this happened." Like 2 of the 5 things that happened during event, and the scores are flipped, and it's never quite what it seems. There's so few. I mean, the one round where we actually took the lead, we were behind in all. Hey, we were behind in all 6 matches, and then won 4 of them. And we were behind by 25 or more in every match. So it's just.
Yeah, it was. Like I say, it was a. Yeah, I remember more, Cliff. Oh dear. So yeah, it was. I mean, it was an amazing match. I don't know how many more we'll end up playing, but that I'll end up playing, and maybe you'll end up playing. But yeah,
I think you're going to be out on the team for quite some time. I hope to again. It really is one of my favorite events anywhere. It's like what Rick says here about the intensity. It just seems greater. It really is. Maine is the only place that's close.
I just feel like there's more drama. Like Maine is louder with those people just being around and, you know, making a lot of noise. But I don't think that there's quite the same. I think the major thing about it that's different is the fact that in Maine, nobody's really supporting anybody. They're just supporting bowling.
Yeah, I think you can invest in some players to a point, but there's nothing like investing in a team and in a country like that brings everybody together for one particular player. You know, way more so than one particular player.
And even like when me and Belmo, we were on the team who played against Timmy's team. We played against the Bayside team in the finals. Even when it got down to the last few frames, I mean, I guess if it had been closer, it might have been different because they managed to beat us in like the minimum. But even coming down, they were still cheering on our strikes. There wasn't really so much cheering for you guys that last day.
No, it was very much what I thought that event
should be
every year. I thought for a long time they've been way too nice, complimentary, polite, however you want to put it, towards us.
Yeah.
When really, I mean, why? And the tone got set early, ironically, by Thomas Larson.
Yeah. Nobody likes the Americans.
Well, nobody likes the Americans anyway. I'm like, that's the guy that throws the shade? He never says anything about anybody. Yeah, well, and
I also think, and then like, I get it. I think that as bowlers, and me and Don were talking about this. I think as bowlers, we get used to bowling audiences a lot, and getting like where you can have that back and forth with them. We just don't really live in a world like where that's like the soccer players can't go and yell at a fan when they score.
Right.
And because it's just, you can't do that. And it was because there's 60,000 of them and we've got 200 or 300, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also I felt like some of it was some of the guys, I mean, like, I don't know how many times Vi's actually bowled on TV with people.
Not that many.
And he bowled fantastic, but he was getting quite annoyed by some of the crowd. And I think,
him less
we
so.
also don't.
Yeah, him less so than some of the guys. But that was actually because of all the extra drinking, and they were trying to create that environment, and they did a better job than before. But we had some guys that have been going at it for 8 or 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guys on the side there were parlaying a little gamesmanship on occasion.
Yeah.
And some of it was borderline. I don't think anything that changed any matches, but it, in some ways it actually helped us because it got a little fired up and a little focused, and yeah. But I actually enjoyed that part, and I certainly Doherty enjoys that rebel kind of being that guy, and Simo doesn't mind that at all. It's probably a little more uncomfortable for Vi than most.
Yeah, I feel like Simo's looking for an argument to have with somebody a lot of the time.
He's got a little of Pete in him.
Yeah.
With that thing. And when he gets mad, he's not
it usually works out well for him.
Yeah, it's not much fun to bowl against him once he gets to that spot. And so him and Tommy, and they kind of got that little deal there.
Here's funny. Alex. It's such a different mindset between the American fan and the European fan.
Yeah.
Tom's playing the rebel, except in Europe, they love it.
Yeah. In the US, it's just different. So, sorry, I'm just reading through some of the comments and some of the things. It's
all right. Well, we will. I'm kind of planning on having a show on Thursday, Chris.
Okay.
I'm flying back tomorrow. So we'll try and figure that out. Next Tuesday, I'm pretty sure is going to be our product show. I'm going to be in Phoenix, but I'm pretty good that we'll have a decent internet connection. So I'll figure something out for that. So yeah. The product show this month is going to feature the hyped hybrid and the Belmo Trend 2. So Chris has drilled all 3 of those. I've drilled all 3 of those. So we've got some footage together so we can, show you a bit. They're actually coming out on Friday, I believe. I think they're coming out on the 22nd, which is Friday.
The ultimate home team ploy. So I did drill the spare ball, and it didn't work out particularly well for me. So I may not go that route again. I'm not sure.
I took a picture of they had the replay of your miss, and they had it in the pin deck, and I took a picture of it, and I might put it up on social media because your ball was going so fast the camera couldn't really I couldn't get it to pause, and when I paused it, the ball was right next to the pin, but the ball had disappeared. So I don't think you missed it. I think the ball just disappeared.
It's just an apparition going by.
Yeah. We pressed the button and it just disintegrated and then came back together when it hit the curtain.
Alan coming in for the Euro fans there today. Can we spell favorite correct, please? What's next color?
Gray, tire, donut.
There's a few.
I feel like donut should be spelt the American way because I don't feel like donut's a British thing. Because we literally spell it dough nut as opposed to do nut.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, I mauled him for being a Manchester United fan. You deserve it. Okay, well, I was honored and I enjoyed being a part of the Weber Cup again. It's as a European team, I guess as a group outside of Jesper, we probably don't get as many TV shows as we'd like, and being able to be on that stage means a lot, and being able to get one over on all the guys I live with is fun, and it's also super fun interacting with Bill Chrisman because Bill loves it when we win, but at the same time he hates it because he's the most patriotic American there is, and he's super torn. At least this year he knew which team he was supporting because you guys had 4 Stormballs on the team. Back in the day when it was the 4 Stormballs against the 4 Ebonite Balls, that was a rough one for Bill. Because he wants to cheer for his American boys, but at the same time he's like, well, it's 4 Storm guys against 4 Ebonite guys. Sorry. So yeah, it's I'll probably, I'm not going to say I'm not going to bring it up. We might even bring out a special Beef and Barnzy t-shirt for it.
Oh, really?
I might have a limited edition beef says shoot your spares or something like that.
Enjoy.
I was well behaved for most of this show.
Hang on while I write the receipt here.
Dalton says he'll take 5. That's one of my team names. Add to the cart. Paul's quite happy with that one.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
I'm just here for the beating.
Stu Karma is such a bitch. Tell me about it, Regina. All I've been hearing from Mark Anderson and go back and watch last year's episode of this when Linda and their other friend started randomly walking through in the Team USA jacket.
Yeah, fair.
This is 3 years in the making, this victory.
Yeah. And Regina actually got doubled down because Ryan's second team, he was on the second team with Wichita this weekend, and they bowled the Aboud's son, and they swept him in the final. So,
FD coming in.
Yeah, FD, thanks. Yeah, I mean, and it's debatable. I mean, one cost someone a player of the year, rookie of the year. The other one, cost a country a championship. So
it's not even about the money. It's not about the trophy. It's just about how much of an asshole me and Dom can be for the next 12 months.
Well, there's no question what that level is. Well, to be fair, Dom's worse when he loses than when he wins. So you're the only one to worry about.
Horrible winners. Oh dear. It's like that old phrase, never meet a good loser.
Jesus.
What's worse than a bad loser, a bad winner? Well, here he is. This guy.
Yeah. There we always got this. I did beat Allen League last night. My Weber Cup now. Yes.
Alex, horrible winners. It's a British thing.
Is it why? Is that lack of practice? I don't know.
I don't know, but I feel like I got closer to earning a tour title for that than AJ Johnson did for the Chris Paul.
Ugh.
So
Yeah, somebody else
On
wrote that
that-
DAZN better than Flow. I don't think that's much in question right now. But and I did
mean,
watch
but
the
the
Chris
other-
Paul. We can break that down, but it will be a short one. It wasn't much.
But the other thing about that is that isn't really fair comparison either.
No.
DAZN is bidding for multi-million-dollar boxing contracts. DAZN's basically a TV channel that happens to be on the internet.
Right. Well, the feed is basically live off the show.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the budget that they have is
Yeah.
closer to Netflix than
Yeah.
than Flow. I just
Which
want
is-
people to understand that. It's not like some
Yeah.
really small company that just did a really good job. They're huge.
Right.
You just don't necessarily follow boxing. So,
Yeah. Well, if you watch the PBA shows, it'd be like Rob and Randy doing all the shows for all the Flow. Yeah,
Mhm.
with the TV cameras and the whole thing. It's not the same setup. It's not like there was some internet webcams filming the Weber Cup.
well, I'm losing light very quickly. So
Okay.
soon I'll be completely in the dark. So I will see you guys on Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad that we finally got the Weber Cup back. It's going to take them half a decade to try and equal that 5 in a row again. So all good in the hood.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right. Well,
see you guys.
yeah. With that, please support the sponsors that support us when you get a chance. Let's go and click on one of these. There we go. Storm, Rotogrip, Niner Global, Vice, Coolwick, 3D Shoes, Bowler's Mark, Mark Baker Bowling, Fire Lake Bowling Center, Platinum Ford, Lightning Strikes, and True Grit Coatings. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, Stu, travel safe, and
Thank you.
God bless.
See you later.